They don't understand that if we add fees at the corporate level, they're not going to understand this stuff. They were using people's financial ignorance to sell Obamacare. That's what it was all about from the very beginning. When you have Hillary Clinton making pronouncements like she did 20 years ago, saying that we can't have competition. That's causing health care to be too expensive. We can't have so many doctors out there because that raises the price of doctors. Look, I don't care what it is, whether it's widgets or whether it's brain surgeons. If you've got more of them out there, unless they organize themselves into some kind of a monopoly using the government, that's how monopolies always operate. They always get the government to come in and give them a monopoly. Here's another example of that. We've got the Small Business Administration that is supposed to help to level the playing field for small businesses versus the large competitors. Do you think that the American government is really going to do that? Do you think the Small Business Administration is really interested in helping small businesses, or are they interested in helping the big businesses? I've had in interviews on the nightly news, I've talked to someone who's made this point. He's filed lawsuits against them. He's exposed this over and over again. Here's the stat from this article here from, this is David Stockman's website. In 2009, the top 10 lending institutions swallowed up roughly 1/4 of all the SBA loan guarantees. You understand that? The top 10 big banks got 1/4 of all the loan guarantees. And it's even worse than that. It's not just that the big banks are getting all the money and then loaning it out. They're always doing that. They're getting interest-free loans to pay back not only the bailout money that they got, but getting interest-free loans and then loaning it out to people on home loans and auto loans at 4%, 5%, 6%, then loaning it out in credit cards at 20, 30, 40, 50%. But no, the loans themselves are going to the biggest companies. It's not going to the small companies. The vast majority of the loans are going to the very largest companies. We see this happening all the time. That's what the government always does. It's called regulatory capture sometimes, but it really is just crony capitalism. It's corruption. They use the government to shut down their competition. The bank bailouts did that to shut down their competition. Look at how many small banks failed. I remember Drudge Report used to have, every year, another 150 banks or whatever went out of business. Small banks went out, and it was a running total, and it was going up on a yearly basis. It's going down now because there's not that many more of them around to drive out of business. Of course, if you want to look at how this plays out, Monsanto and the FDA is a good example of this. We have an article up on Infowars.com today. Monsanto pulling illegal vote counters into the Oregon GMO recount. Remember when we had the election, we talked about how it was unfortunate that the labeling law narrowly lost in Oregon? Well, actually, it didn't. Okay, right now, there's only 812 votes between the no and the yes sides on the labeling debate in Oregon. So what are they doing? What is Monsanto doing? Well, Monsanto and the large corporations that want to keep you from knowing what's in your food have been bringing in people from out of state as observers. It's one of the many ways that they game the system. And of course, they have been paying to play, I should say, donating 4 to 5 times the amount of money that the organizations who are trying to get labeling out there have, and basically lying to the public. And if they do it enough, I think they've got it down to a science. It looks like if they put out about 4 to 5 times the amount that their opponents are able to spend, they seem to be able to pretty regularly pull this off. And they, at the beginning, when they were first fighting these labeling laws, they were putting a lot of money in, but then they pulled it back to just about 4 or 5 times. And in Oregon, it went from an overwhelming majority of people who supported just honesty in knowing what's in your food. Can't I just know what's in my food? We can have this discussion about what GMO actually means to my health, but why are you hiding the fact that it's in there if it's something that isn't harmful for me? We have labels about everything. So they lie to them and they tell them that, oh, this is going to be horrible. It's going to drive the cost of everything up. Look, they redesign their labels all the time just for marketing decisions. But they also point out in this article, of course, and we've talked about this right after the election, the way they got shut down was by an educated electorate in Hawaii. Even though they spent over $8 million in Hawaii to try to do GMO farming there, it didn't sell. They weren't able to use their propaganda there because people understood the issue. It really is an educational issue, and it's a long-term issue. That's where they've had success in the GMO shutdowns, is where they stop the farming of GMO because the people know what's going on. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
This hour of GCN programming is proudly sponsored by BlockItPocket.com. Protect your privacy and data and render your phone or device completely undetectable. Go under the radar when your phone's not in use with BlockItPocket.com.
Hi, Ted Anderson with Midas Resources. Is it time to convert paper 401ks and IRAs to solid gold and silver yet? Get our 10 Reasons book free. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Are you happy doing your laundry with perfume detergents that irritate your skin? Are you happy washing your hands with stinking fragrances that gives your skin rashes? Are you happy paying new, higher prices for smaller boxes? Find your happiness today with our 1 to 4 year supply of pure soaps, or our 1 to 2 month sampler with bar soap, shampoo, laundry, and dish soap at 5starsoap.com. You deserve the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
What looks good under your Christmas tree and tastes even better? Big Berkey water filters. Yes, the gift of clean water. A gift that provides a great foundation for achieving good health in the lives of your loved ones. A Big Berkey water filter gives them protection from bacteria, heavy metals, chlorine, fluoride, pesticides and herbicides, VOCs, and more. And best of all, a Big Berkey water filter is a gift that lasts for many years with no additional investment. And that saves time and money in filter replacements that other water filters require, and are even powerful enough to purify treated, untreated, or even stagnant pond water. As always, all orders over $50 are shipped free, and GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Order online at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com, spelled Big, B-E-R-K-E-Y, waterfilters.com, or call 877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Gift well this Christmas. Give a Big Berkey water filter.
Do you have relatives and friends that are convinced there is no need ever to prepare for any kind of emergency? Are these also folks you buy Christmas presents for? At 30dayfoodsupply.com, we can solve both of these problems at the same time. Go to 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. We can ship your Christmas presents directly to them. Choose from our original $99 30-day food supply, our long-term storage vegan burger mixes, and other oatmeal, soups, porridges, beans, and granolas for everyday use. All products are non-GMO, MSG-free, and vegetarian. Most are gluten, soy, and nut-free. Call 541-229-0010 today. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low, cutting out the middleman by buying directly from their producers in Oregon. Remember, only $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Visit the website 30dayfoodsupply.com. Call 541-229-0010. 30dayfoodsupply.com, 541-229-0010.
Don't worry, this show is documented. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. I went down, 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 and the flames went higher. And it burns, 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 the ring of fire, the ring of fire.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. We're going to be joined in the next segment with Joe Wolverton, writing for The New American, talking about the UN Arms Trade Treaty, a very comprehensive piece of gun control. Of course, it was not ratified by the Senate, Of course, it conflicts with the Second Amendment, but we have seen all kinds of crazy stuff being done by our government under color of law. We've got Obama announcing an executive order, yet nothing was ever signed or filed. That's research done by Jerome Corsi. He's going to be joining us in the next hour to talk about that and the meaning of that. Of course, I think it clearly makes it obvious that we've got a dictator in office. He doesn't think he even needs to put his orders in writing. He just needs to speak them. But of course, it's a little bit more subtle than that. That's one of the takeaways to come out with it. But we've also got House lawmakers are going to reintroduce a bill to limit the NSA backdoor spying. We'll see. I don't know. I don't see that they really want to do anything about this, of course, because we've got people violating the law from the NSA down to the police departments. The Department of Justice is violating the law. We've got the IRS violating the law. We've got a president who signs executive orders. If you are so captured by this Democrat-Republican false paradigm they put out there, it ought to scare you to death to think about the other guys getting in charge. Except the thing is, they're all on the same team, as we point out over and over again. We even had the bumper as we came in earlier in the show of the comedian pointing out, you know, we got the puppet on the left, we got the puppet on the right, and look, that's the same guy controlling both of them. We got George Bush. This is a article that's up on Drudge Report. George Bush says Hillary Clinton is like my sister-in-law. He just called Bill Clinton his brother from another mother. As Alex has pointed out, I don't know the genealogy as well as Alex does, but he points out that's quite literally close to the truth. So it's the same group of people where it looks like we're going to possibly have a Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton. Isn't that repulsive? Doesn't that make you just want to throw up? I mean, it makes me want to throw up. It scares me too. Except it's not really going to be that different. You know, when we looked at the choice that we were given with Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, you realize, of course, that Peter Gruber was given a shout-out by Mitt Romney for helping him to push through Romneycare in Massachusetts, which was so identical to Obamacare that eventually came through. And, of course, Romney did that with the help of Ted Kennedy in Massachusetts. That should have been a warning for everybody that we were going to get the same thing regardless of who we elected. It was just a different face. You know, do you like this young white guy or do you like Captain Underpants on the other side? I mean, what's your choice? You like this dashing traditional, what is it, the Fighting Whiteys? Isn't that what Mitt Romney looked like? But anyway, you could pick the guy that you thought matched your personal taste, because we can't even really have a discussion about excessive use of police force or police violating the law without it being taken over by racism. And as we pointed out earlier, it was a black female sergeant who oversaw the smothering or the heart attack that was induced on Eric Garner and had no problem with it. You're not going to see this change by electing a woman or a black or a white guy. It's what's behind it. You have to look at their policies. They're using that to throw you off of the trail. Now, in the next segment, we're going to be talking to Joe Wolverton about the UN Arms Trade Treaty. We have an article up on InfoWars about another approach to gun control. 38 billion reasons the Second Amendment is crumbling, and it's Bloomberg's money, the billionaire Bloomberg, lavishing money on these initiatives in the same way that Monsanto and the big agri companies lavish money on these other initiatives to prevent people from knowing what's in their food. They're trying to take our fundamental rights to protect ourselves individually from criminals and collectively against an unconstitutional government. Those are rights that supersede the Constitution. But, of course, Bloomberg has a lot of money. They point out that he's reportedly spent as much as $50 million from his personal funds in just the 2014 elections. If you go back and you look at even David Clark, we've interviewed him on this show, a black sheriff from Minneapolis, very supportive of gun rights, telling people, honestly, I can't be there when something happens. You need to be armed. You need to be trained. Make sure you know how to use the gun, but I can't be there for a long time. We'll try to get there as soon as we can, but you have the responsibility to protect yourself. Bloomberg tried to take him out of office with $500,000 spent on a sheriff's race. He's got a lot of money, and he's going to throw it at this. He's got a different agenda. We're going to be right back talking about the UN Arms Trade Treaty. Stay with us.